Dear Leonidas, good day. Thanks for joining Slide to Open for a brief exchange of ideas and opinions on this current situation this past year. Let's beat on with the first theme, which has to do, of course, with the pandemic and shipping and how we believe shipping has weathered the storm. We seem to have been well fed, adequately clothed, we've been kept warm, and all this has happened because of shipping. What's your view on how shipping has fared, and what lessons do you believe we can learn from all this situation?
Thank you for this very inclusive introduction. I think in a very concise way you put the fingers on the nail. I honestly believe that, not surprisingly, because it is historically proven, shipping was there and is still there in order to facilitate the world economy and society to confront the crisis. The spectrum and the impact of the counter effects of pandemic COVID-19, I consider that is one of the major things happening, the major during 21st century. And I hope it's the last one, and it's not going to be long enough to stay. I hope so. And here I recall something which ex-US Secretary of Defense Donald Rumsfeld used to say things we know we don't know. This is to say that a very grave thing happened. The world and the society were unprepared, and still I think we are unprepared, but shipping, on other things being equal, has proven that was there, was very adaptive, was very versatile, and shipping contributed into the world being fed, getting energy, commodities to move around. So the first lesson we have learned is that let's get the lessons from an adaptive, I would say, industry, which is based on the core values. Core values have to do with human factor, both ashore and on board. The brains ashore, the hard work, tradition, perseverance, but nothing would have done without our crews.
You raise exactly a very important point, the human factor. How do you believe shipping
90% is human factor.
How do you believe shipping has tackled that particular segment?
So that tackled very well. I would say there's though one negative parameter here, and this is a lesson, a counter lesson. A lesson we haven't learned is that shipping is not the only case. If our planet suffers out of something, is lack of a strong global governance. This is to say, stakeholders, political system, all parties involved and concerned, to be in a situation to sit together and with a visionary way resolve issues.
On the other hand, is it always possible to take the worst case scenario in mind and have governance only based on a worst case scenario?
No,
in other words, were we completely unprepared, you believe?
Of course we were completely unprepared. Only it was a question of movies that we're watching, and I don't think that everybody, did have it ever cross your mind that a thing like that may happen?
Absolutely not.
Absolutely not to mine. But I want to repeat what Rumsfeld said before. The things we know, we don't know. This is to say that you have to have the knowledge, the understanding, the perseverance, the innovative approach, the willingness to understand a problem and resolve. Shipping is linked to crisis management, resolving issues.
Troubleshooting.
Exactly. So, without big words, I don't believe in excessive regulation, but I believe in practical way and visionary ways to intelligently find quick and expedient solutions. On that we need to go a bit stronger and
educate our future politicians.
Exactly. I don't say I'm too. I'm not a politician, so I declare ignorance on that. But definitely because politicians, they're part also of ourselves. I mean, they're mirroring what we are. So it's a matter of education for all concerned. But what's really required is that we take a step back and we look how to resolve problems about the seafarers. Because as I mentioned in the welcome, it's a big issue that we cannot repatriate the crews, so we cannot exchange the crews, and this is very bad for the performance and from a human factor. And also it's very important the question of the experience of vaccination, because they are the soft and hard skills required for the trade. The other lesson we learn is that digitalization is there. I think to put things in the right perspective, from small practical things. I mean, the cost of the internet and the means and the speed and the quality of the image gave the possibility for the crews in particular to be closer to their beloved ones and their families. So it didn't solve, but definitely, I'm 63 years of age, these things would have been unimaginable. I'm someone who was a sailor of the sea, of the land. I was traveling. So I understand what communication means and how important it was.
Do you believe that those shipping companies that had a head start on technology and digitization weathered the storm better and were able to support their crews in a more effective way?
Right. I think there was a democratization in the sense that it's not only that is the question, because everybody, practically all the companies have digital equipment. So all the crews practically cannot imagine a ship, an ordinary ship, without being equipped with all this important and affordable equipment in all different kinds of ships. The second thing, which is quite important, is that we had also the digital inspections and the surveyors and classification societies, how work with the owners. I mean, that was applicable for all concerned. It was not only for the highly advanced companies.
Flag states issuing certificates electronically,
all that, and still there are more things to be done. There are things which are not yet to 100% satisfactory level, but we're in a track which is a very good one, and it advanced quite a lot and has proven itself during the crisis. And then, last and not least, and then of course it was very important for the smart logistics, because when we come to the distribution, and shipping is a part of logistics, to the end-to-end distribution, I mean, digitalization was so important from the point of view of efficiency, for the vast system of delivery, the vast pressure on the system on delivery, because a lot of physical things, they will be substituted by other methods. So these things are coming. And last and not least, I think it's very important how strong digitalization entered the education.
Exactly.
Because it is so important that, for instance, take the Greek Merchant Marine Academies, that we have something that was so difficult even to think and imagine. We have distance learning. It's not perfect yet, but it's there. So we function, so students can follow their courses. So this was very important, but digitalization, but it's also more important than ever to understand, as I said before, the question of skills. Because if we survived, it is the adaptability, the soft and the hard skills who make the difference.
The human element makes the difference.
All the others are elements who assist. They are not substituting. It's a part of the equation.
And if we look today at backlogs in various ports and in the throughput of the goods, it's the lack of the human element, because many people are falling ill. Or can't cope with the pressure. It's the lack of the human element that's causing the backlogs nowadays in many ports. So it's very important to mention and keep focused on that.
And I'm very proud that Greek shipping is following very closely through our union of GUGS, our Union of Greek Shipowner Association, who are very much in the front line of preserving our tradition, whereas at the same time support the concept of preparing ourselves for the future. And don't forget that we have the sustainable goals of IMO, the 17 targets. It's the environment. There are so many things on which shipping is and will continue to be the front line. Though, all what we do, it has to be done in a way that is done proper and holistic, with proper impact studies. Gathering of data, communication, efficiency, and cost vastly ameliorated. The question today is the multi-level administration of the data, where all concerned have to be very careful, avoiding inefficiencies, and then R&D driven by other parameters and supported by impact studies. More collaboration is required by all industry stakeholders, particularly in the field of access, security, and data ownership, in order to identify and agree on the vision of the bigger picture, because what we require is to have the big picture, not vocal vested interest to tackle for their own benefit with institutions and projects supported by European Union bits and pieces.
A cooperative approach.
Exactly, which will drive to a sub-solution situation, but it will be sub-solutions without giving a proper solution. So, in effect, you should have digitalization for the benefit of the industry, not the industry for the benefit of digitalization. And therefore, COVID-19 was an accelerating and is an accelerating factor of how shipping can benefit from digitalization and not the other way around.
I think your ideas today have placed nice seeds for the discussions to follow during the Slide to Open conference. So thank you very much for your contribution, and we look forward to other speakers to express their views. Thank you.
Thank you.